I studied true gravity. Pain turned to power. The pressure was crafting me. City on fire, but peace in my anatomy. War in the streets, still calm in my strategy. Came from the bottom where hope was a casualty, not ascending. No hate in my faculty. Lessons was heavy. It built up the man in me. God in my mind, so no fear ever capture me. Walk through the flame, I don't burn, I adapt. Learn from the losses, I turn it to craft. Nothing was given, I built it from the scraps. Now I'm just rising, no holding me back. Silence is my weapon, I move with intent. No need for the noise when the message is sent. Everything written was already meant. Levitation, this is deeper than the rent. I don't need wings, I've been elevating. Lost in the smoke, but I'm never mistaken. World still burning on, I'm steady escaping. And I rise amongst these bitch niggas. Elevating. I don't need wings, I've been elevating. Lost in the smoke, but I'm never mistaken. The world still burning and I'm steady escaping. Levitating, but I'm never breaking. I got high perspective, I see from above. Pain made me sharper, I turned it into love. Build from the dirt, now I rise like a dove. Guided by the truth, don't move off mean mugs. People be lost in the images they chase. Found my purpose, learned to work and never nervous, ran the race. Looked in the mirror, always face what I face. Now I'm moving in my passion, they interacting with snakes. And nothing can stop what was already built. Carry wisdom like a burden and I move with no guilt. Cleaned up my mind, move walking through the filth. Now I'm standing hella tall with the strength that I felt. Floating but grounded, I mastered the balance. Come from the struggle, I turned it into talent. No more confusion, I seen through the challenge. Levitation, elevating. I don't need wings, I've been elevating. Lost in the smoke, but I'm never mistaken. World still burning on, I'm steady escaping. And I rise amongst these bitch niggas. Elevating. I don't need wings, I've been elevating. Lost in the smoke, but I'm never mistaken. The world still burning and I'm steady escaping. Levitating, but I'm never breaking.
Peace, everyone. We are live here for episode 193 of Let's Get Activated podcast. Welcome, everyone. This is your girl, May. And, we're at the point where this man really doesn't need any introduction. He is activated alumni at this point. So I'd like to welcome back King Kamal.
All praise due. Peace. Thank you for having me back. It's always an honor to be back, and always, just to be able to come with some hotness that, hopefully, activated and the masses will enjoy,
Oh, definitely. Peace to you, King. It's always an honor having you back. It's always a vibe. The work of art is always amazing. Speaking of which, we have this amazing album, Levitation, that dropped yesterday on your born day. So it's a celebration. We're still celebrating.
Yes, of course. It's I wanted to drop it on my born day, and it's ironic. My not my last album, but one of my albums 2 years ago, I dropped on my born day. And, whenever I can do it, I do it. Whenever I'm inspired to do it, I do it. And it's wild to be here on the 11th when there's 11 tracks on the album, which is symbolic to the 11th alphabet and the supreme alphabets, and the the lessons of 120. You know what I'm saying? As a 5%er, the 11th alphabet is King, and King is who I am. You know what I'm saying? It's who I am. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I wanted to do, and that's we here.
We here, and that's peace. So we're gonna start it out. We got to show off, this amazing album cover of yours here for it. So what was the inspiration behind it?
The inspiration behind Levitation, the album cover, it was it's the third installment of theme music. if you look at the clothing and everything of myself as a character, I'm wearing the same outfit from the last album cover, but only this time I'm surrounded by distress and mayhem and so much going on, and it's trying to pull me down. Everything is chaotic and on fire, and I'm just exercising my inner power, my strength, things that make me who I am, to elevate and levitate above all of it. Kind of pretty much like the superhero theme. The city and everything burning symbolizes like all the things that have crashed and burned over the 6-7 months, all the different things in my life that have taken dramatic turns, changes, the unfortunate loss of different loved ones, different health scares and stuff and all of that, and life just life, and me not letting it pull me down, but me bringing myself up, you know what I'm saying, as a supreme being with good orderly direction. So that's what it symbolizes: levitation, rising above it all.
Absolutely. And that's what you did throughout the whole album. And if people have noticed, we've got this whole theme, going on with visuals, and it will continue because it's quite a story, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Yo,
is.
shout out to my sister. I see my big sister in the chat.
Yep, yep. She came through quick, big shout out to her, appreciate the support, coming in for the show. So yeah, so we're gonna start off. We might. I mean, you kind of was breaking it down a little bit, but you can delve into further levitation and the lyrical content and such.
Yeah, levitation it's simply about rising above adversity and, all the BS. You know what I mean? I mean, we do what we can, we do the best we can, and, you know, you can overcome anything. A lot of times it's like people have their own definition or their own meaning of what overcoming something is. Just like how you have many people who believe in and subscribe in the power of prayer and meditation and everything like that. So, like, when a loved one is like fighting for life or something like that, or they're entering a stage where, you know, physical life might be at stake, people will be like, I pray that they make it. I pray that they get through it and everything. And their that person's meaning of escaping from it may not be the version of what levitating and rising and escaping from that particular situation. It may be escaping in the physical, you know what I'm saying? Like, where there's no more pain, no more suffering and things of that nature. You know what I mean? For me, levitation is just like rising above all the chaos and not letting the chaos like bring you down. Not saying that it's not a challenge, because when you look at the character, like in the video slides and stuff and in the artwork, you see my character constantly fighting and being like the forces of all the darkness and stuff around him is like trying to pull him. Like, there's a tug trying to pull him. Like, he's not just doing it easily and gracefully, you know what I'm saying? Because he's still human, but he's still giving it his all, and he's still levitating and rising above it by his definition of what he sees levitation as. So that's what levitation is about.
Yeah, I like it. It's a perfect intro because it's inspiring too. Like, it just gives like, okay, we're in for something, we're gonna feel a lot of things, but we're gonna be inspired to fight, and build throughout. So I'm loving it.
Thank you, no doubt. I picked out the production, I did the mixing and mastering on it, and it's ironic that the majority of this project, I either had COVID or I was on the tail end of having COVID. That's why certain tracks my voice is like more raspy and a little bit hoarse, where I'm fighting and I'm just pressing through the vocals, just trying to push through it, like struggling to like breathe. Like a lot of people don't understand that when you already have like respiratory issues, like either bronchitis or asthma, like I have, having COVID is not the worst part of COVID for me, speaking for me. The
Right.
worst part is once you've overcome it and you got past it, it's like you're kind of like teaching your body how to breathe regularly all over again. And it was like me, I was like, yo, I said, I can't stay down. I can't stay down. Like I gotta create. I gotta create. Like I don't do, like I'm to a level where I don't do music. I am music. Like I'm a unchained melody. Like I can't be held down when it comes to creating. That's why I understand like that story where Common was saying Dilla was making beats on his like deathbed. Like he made beats to the very end because he didn't just do music. He was music, and he still is music and forever lives through like life's rhythm. You know what I'm saying? So that's how Levitation and other tracks were inspired. And it's crazy. I knocked out half of this album in like one day in less than about like 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like just all freestyling because it was just flowing through me, and I just had to like get it out of me. And at the same time, I'm like pausing, coughing, and stuff like that. But I'm still like giving it what I got. Like I'm slap boxing with like the, you know, the track and everything like that, and getting the mix perfect, the mix and the master perfect and soulful, the selection of the production just real grimy and soulful, the way I want it and the way I need it, because this is the third and final installment of the trilogy of the first 3 albums to enter the new year. You know what I'm saying? Like The Path Chose,
Mhm.
theme music, and now Levitation, they're all intertwined with one another. You know what I mean? So yeah, like that's how Levitation went.
Absolutely. And you see everything that you said, how symbolic it is. You were literally fighting through the album, but you still overcame. You made an incredible album. The production is on point. And I even love it in certain moments when you're just sounding, you know, raw or hoarse because you were going through it, but it sounds so good. And
Thank
another
you.
thing that you're welcome. And another thing you brought up, you are music. And that's the thing that I need people to understand. When an artist takes their craft seriously, when they're passionate about it, when we speak on support, you cannot differentiate the two. You
Facts.
cannot do that. You cannot do that to an artist. You know, that is a part of them. So when an artist is taking their craft seriously and you genuinely rock with them, you need to support that. You
Yes.
really do.
Yes. Yes, true indeed. I mean, you got to, you know what I'm saying? Like too many people complain about there not being any good music out there. And then when they get good music and they get true artists who care about the craft, you know, they hop on the whole bandwagon of, you know, well, in the underground and in the indie scene of hip hop, people do a lot of sack chasing, legendary golden era rappers who have crossed over or back over into that lane, mixed with the newer generation of underground people who they inspired. You know what I'm saying? And then you got a lot of people, DJs, podcasters, journalists, not giving people a fair chance. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you say this is what you want, but when you get it, you don't appreciate it. So appreciate us while you can and while you have us, because there are many people that do what we do, but when they eventually feel like they're not getting that level of support, you know what I'm saying? they've invested so much time, so much studio time, so much money being an indie artist or producer, songwriter, or whatever, beat maker, whatever. And they get to a point where they're like, yo, nobody support me like they say they want somebody like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and bow out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have said it in different like interviews that I feel like to some degree I've been kind of like blackballed from different playlists, from different shows. If I'm not if I'm not featured on songs with different people that I rock with, you know what I'm saying, or I've rocked with in the past, certain people that are fam or whatever, if I'm not on tracks with them, I don't make the cut of their mixtape. And I'm like, you listen to some of these artists, and it's not throwing shade. Some of these artists that they select aren't even up to par like me. And that's not being cocky. It's the truth. Like, Levitation is a it's a product, it's a project like theme music, it's a project like Pav chose that could stand against 80 to 90% of these independent artists that I'm in the same uh field as. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I just, I'm way past it. I black out and I just go into my world of music. You know what I'm saying? So that's this album Levitation. Pav chose and Levitation are my most personal albums. Theme music was like the breather, the gap between them, where I had to give it a poetic nostalgia 70s intermission. But now when you see the character on the artwork and the videos and stuff, he has on the same suit, but he's wearing it different. You know what I'm saying? He's tapping into his inner self as a supreme being with good orderly direction. You know what I'm saying? And in his mind, he becomes his own superhero and his biggest fan, his worst critic, you know what I'm saying? And he's fighting against everything that I just named. And he's his biggest cheerleader and biggest supporter. You know what I mean? And he's building himself up more and more and more to where all the chaos and everything around him can't take him down or bring him down.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, you make timeless music, and with you, it's always expect the unexpected in a good way. Every project that you drop, it does not sound the same. And some people gonna think I'm throwing shade, but I'm sorry. There's one Griselda or set of Griseldas.
Your word, yes.
I don't need to hear y'all saying the same thing, like what they say, regurgitating, something in another song, those same boring drum beats. I'm tired of it. Like, and in those playlists, I'm sorry, they're whack. I keep it real with you. Like, I don't got nothing to lose. It's like, you guys need to start really like making it versatile, giving dope artists like King Kamal, giving them a shine. Y'all say y'all want gems and great music, but y'all keep playing the same old tired stuff, like, come on, people.
Yeah, thank you. It's true. Shout out to Amber Ahmed. I see you in the chat. But yeah, I mean, all of that is true. It's crazy how many of us who remember how indie and underground hip hop was to where it was taboo to sound like somebody else. Like, if you sounded like someone else, it's because you all were part of the same crew, part of the same circle. Like how Souls of Mischief, like, even though they all had have their own style, people from Hieroglyphics, that whole camp from back in the days and still doing it now, they all had their own individual sound, but they all had something about them where you could tell that they was from the same like crew. Just like when you looked at Kendrick Lamar's camp, you know, with Ab-Soul, J-Rock, and all of them, phenomenal MCs. They all had different styles, but they had certain things that let you know they were part of the same crew, like certain things that were a bit similar to where you're like, well, they could do that because they from the same crew. But you have too many people nowadays. I call it like midlife crisis hip hop. I
Yes.
call it midlife crisis hip hop.
Yes.
You got a lot of cats that were former drug dealers, weren't bigger drug dealers than what they claiming to be, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's like they grandfathers and all that, you know, drive a school bus or working a regular 9 to 5, and they clock out and they go get on a mic and become like the biggest drug lord still doing it. And it's like, come on, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're grown.
Yes.
Make grown man hip hop. It's okay to make grown man hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to make adult hip hop. Like, there's so many different uh lanes within the hip hop lane. Like the things that a lot of underground dudes used to criticize the commercial hip hop scene for, they're doing it now in the indie slash underground hip hop lane. Like, they're biting. Like you said, there's one Griselda, there's one Benny the Butcher, there's one West Side Gun, there's one Rome Streets, there's one, you know, there's only one. You know what I'm saying? These guys have a signature sound. That's
Mm-hmm.
them. You know what I'm saying? Let them do them. The only people I know whose production it their production kind of reminded me of was DJ Muggs from Cypress Hill
Mm-hmm.
and Soul Assassins. Like, I kind of feel like he originated that sound of production. But as far as that flow, yeah, people have been rapping about gun bars and all that stuff for years. But it seemed like when Griselda came back and was talking that talk that you mostly hear over trap beats, over like boom bap and grimy and dusted sounding beats and stuff. Now everybody want to be uh overweight drug dealer
Mm-hmm.
dressing like a 40 and 50-year-old 16-year-old, and behind the scenes a lot of these folks, they're getting tired of it, but they won't admit it publicly. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
like this is how the art form dies. You know what I'm saying? This is how music dies. I mean, and then you have like people who are like that people call culture vultures or whatever. They study the whole original thing before it got tainted, and they turn around and start doing it way better than the originators, because even though they're culture vultures, they're sticking to like the blueprint, even though they have their own intentions. It's like they're keep a culture. It's wild when a culture vulture
Mm-hmm.
is keeping it realer than a lot of people who are the originators, man, and that's sad. And Levitation, man, it is Levitation is not one of those projects where you can play around with like that. It's raw, it's unapologetic, it's soulful. I purposely picked the production the way I picked it. It's soulful. Towards the middle on out, it starts getting very dark, representing some things that I've been through, some things that I've lived, the things that have transpired within my life. You know, like Nina Simone always say. Nina Simone said that an artist's music should reflect the times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reflecting the times I've been in within the past 6 months since I lost my pops over the Christmas holiday. You know what I'm saying? I'll never look at certain holidays the same way again. I'll never be the King Kamal that anybody knew before December. You know, not being dark or anything like that, but I am on a whole nother level. I'm on a whole nother wavelength. but I'm still gonna bring you that hotness. I'm always gonna bring you me. I'm always gonna bring you human frailty. I'm not gonna give you my version of Griselda. I'm not gonna give you my version of whatever is out there. If I do something and it reminds you of somebody or puts you in a mind frame of something, and that person is dope, cool. But I don't make music to try to sound like a popular person that's in the underground right now, you know? But yeah,
Exactly. And I'm glad that you don't. I'm glad that you're being you, you're given, because I was really feeling down about this culture. It really has lost its way. So it's wonderful to have someone like you that still brings that, excitement and
thank you.
inspires, and giving us something real, taking care of your temple, not on no midlife crisis type of stuff,
Yeah,
being unique, and not like what everybody else is on a bandwagon for.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I appreciate that.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
All praise due to you for seeing that and saying that and keeping it real. Like I'm grateful. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how to be anybody but King Kamal. I don't know how to be anybody but King Kamal. That's what it is. That's who I am. And I'm going to do it until I can't do it no more. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And speaking of which, that's a perfect segue to the next track, Throne No More.
Yeah. We just setting them up and knocking them out. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Throne No More is about reevaluation. It's about reevaluating, it's about no longer looking outside of self for things or people to define you or your worth. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
Throne No More is like a throne or a crown. It's like it's material. It symbolizes things that you feel that you need, or if I could only get this, it'll make me more powerful. It'll make people really respect me. And all it does is feed the ego, just like how at one point in time you had a lot of New York artists that were like, who's the real king of New York, and, fighting for the crown. And it took someone like Nas, a true lyricist, to like express that it ain't even about that. And it's a ego booster. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I did the word play with crown, throne, and so I said throne no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, my name is King, but I'm a king that doesn't need a crown, just like I'm a king that doesn't need the validation of a European dictionary uh, to tell me how to define the definition of a king when we know that there are plethoras of different meanings of what a king is, So throne no more is like, it's no more of me searching or trying to achieve this highest thing outside of myself to prove that I'm dope. Like, not praises from other people, not praises from people who I respect and know are dope, or even doper than me. Like, I validate me. And I knew this before, but a series of things have happened recently throughout my life where it brought me back a full 360 to that point. So throne no more, meaning no throne, no material, things to look at that define me. I define me. I look inward and not outward, which I'm supposed to do anyway. But sometimes when you're an artist and you really want to be loved so bad by other artists and people that you respect within this culture, you find yourself doing it, not realizing that you're doing it. So Throne No More is pretty much me saying, fuck all that. And if you got a problem with it, fuck you.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
I'm with it. You know, I'm with it.
you know what I mean?
Exactly. So on to the next, literally. So now we're on mirror season.
Yeah, mirror season. It's funny. I had the title before I actually like had the song or the beat. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Mirror. It's about self-reflection. You know what I'm saying? It's about the different stages of life. You know, and life is like, there are seasons of life, you know what I'm saying? And seasons change, people change, situations change, you know what I'm saying? You yourself, me, myself, we change, change is inevitable, and I always say anything that's not changing is not growing, and anything that's not growing is dead in a sense, you know what I'm saying? So you eventually sometimes when you're reflecting like a mirror, you have
Mhm.
to look into the mirror of life, you know what I'm saying, to get that clarity. Just like you sometimes have to clean, a dirty or a dusted mirror, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's what mirror season is about. You know what I'm saying? It's clearness, it's clarity, seeing with the third eye, which is the mind, you know.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm with it. And so next we have the fourth track. We have Ascending.
Ascending, yes.
Mhm.
I always wanted to do a song or an album called Ascending. When I was younger, but I thought the word ascend or ascending was so cool. And
Mhm.
then before I even knew what it meant, you know what I'm saying? And I looked it up. I looked it up and I was like, yo, that means to rise above. Like, and I was like, ascending. Yeah. And like ironically, it came to me like, you know, just naturally without me trying to create something called ascending. You know, ascending is about lifing, you know what I'm saying? And like I said before, parts of us dying and another part of us, being born. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's about day to day fighting off, our own demons, our own imperfections, and embracing our imperfections and not being ashamed and not dumbing down your perfections to make other people feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? When they say stand up straight, posture and everything, upright. It's upright, meaning up ascending, you know what I'm saying? So I mean that's what it is. It's like it's that simple, you know what I'm saying? Like how they say we up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We've been down long enough to, now we stayed down long enough to come up, you know what I'm saying? Whatever your thing is, you got to stand on it 10 toes down, but always keep your head up. Always look up. You know what I'm saying? You ascending. You know what I'm saying? You're not descending. You're ascending. You're rising. You know what I'm saying? You keep rising. You keep elevating, which goes back to levitation.
Yes, yes. All ties in. This is full circle, people.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So next we've got Face Your Fears.
Face your fears. It's ironic. Face your fears. It didn't even have a title at first. It was just me just freestyling over a track. And a lot of the songs are about me just giving like jewels to younger people, younger artists, and people who are older artists or just older people in life to let them know like it's never too late to learn. It's never too late to face your fears. You know what I mean? The opposite of fear is faith. Um, However you define faith, that's completely up to you. But I know me, I don't walk in fear. The way I deal with any fear that I've had or have, I face it. I'm just like one of those people. Like I've always been that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't call it tough. I don't call it, you know, I call it having heart. I
Yeah.
call it being real. I call it being human. I call it being you. Like, I mean, I'm from the south side of Chicago, and I've said that so many times. I'm from the south side of Chicago. I also rep, the South. But my foundation where I started, south side of Chicago, where either you are gonna be a victim or you are gonna be the victor. You know what I'm saying? And me, I chose to be the victor by facing my fears. You know what I'm saying? It's learning how what it's about learning how what you build in your heart is worth more than any currency or material gain. You know what I'm saying? Life is precious. I mention that and I break it down in the song, how I've seen all these different changes, how I've seen the strongest people like reach that season or that stage in life where they were vulnerable, they weren't as strong, they had kinks in their armor that they never wanted to be shown or seen, but all in all, at the end of it, many of them always still faced their fears, chin up, and went out with their head held high. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Face Your Fears is about. Face them.
Face them, yes. Absolutely. Face them and take care of it. Be strong. You got this.
What I mean? Facts. Facts upon facts, actual facts.
Exactly. So next we're going into what I like to call like act 2 of the album. This is where stuff is going to get even more deeper and real. So we're starting with Silent Ascension.
Yeah, Silent Ascension. For me, is how the gifts and talents as an indie artist, it didn't happen for me overnight. You know what I'm saying? It's a journey. You know what I'm saying? It was a journey for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't just get these gifts and talents. Like, there are so many people, and I've joked about this in past interviews where they'll say, well, I only been rhyming 3 years. What? He was rhyming 3 years at this high level of caliber and everything. Oh my goodness, he sound like he been rhyming for years. And then when you do deeper digging, some of the lies start falling apart where this person was rhyming way longer. They were just trying to fabricate and sell themselves and create this, I was born like this. Like I was born with the caliber of a wordsmith in 3D, a gladiator, a pharaoh. Like I knew when I wrote my first lyrical miracle spirituals at the age of 7, and you'd be like, nah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was whack. Many people were whack. Like I've cracked and made jokes about it. Many people were whack when they first started and they won't admit it. You know what I'm saying? But because of me experiencing different variations of what music was and just living in the inner city on the south side and venturing out to other sides and going in different circles and then migrating to the south and being amongst, our people and different cultures and different lights and stuff like that, it was all part of my journey. And in between those journeys, I grew more and I developed not just as an artist, but as a human being, as a man first, which made me a better artist, which made me a better songwriter. You know what I'm saying? So Silent Ascension is me saying, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm dope as fuck. I ain't really got to tell you this, but in case you need some reminding, you know what I'm saying? That's why there's a kind of bit of like a boasting on certain parts when you just hear me rhyming and stuff, and then pausing and stepping back and letting the track breathe a bit. You know what I mean? Plus, like I said, I was just getting over COVID. So I was rhyming and spacing it out, playing it off, because on certain parts I was like, you know, I was like, yo, I can't breathe, man. This is this, but I'm gonna keep going. I got this. You know what I'm saying? But these are things that many people don't mention when they create. They don't mention the flaws. They don't know how to laugh and make fun of themselves and embrace every part of themselves or their journey. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Silent Ascension is about.
Hey, I love that. That's definitely dope. And I love just how you just, rocked on the track and your cadence and everything.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome. So next we've got Crown in the Ashes.
And we go back to the crown.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the crown concept and theory. Crown in the Ashes. Ironically, Crown in the Ashes, before it was actually like a song. It didn't have a title. It was just a track that had like one verse on there. I was so sick because I didn't quite get over like COVID yet.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I got to like the hook and the second verse, like I was over COVID. That's why my voice sounds slightly different towards the middle of the chorus to the end, you know what I'm saying? And it's Crown in the Ashes is about royalty through struggle, maintaining dignity, value and purpose, even after loss, hardships, or destructions, and rebirth after being broken, rising from the ruins, from past mistakes, pain, or maybe even betrayal, and reemerging like stronger than ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what Crown in the Ashes, is about. Plus, I love the title. You know what I'm saying? I thought, because I was like, I'm really feeling this, like Crown in the Ashes. If I remember clearly, it almost became the album's title, and then one day I was just like, nah, man, I just want to simplify it, man. Like, I love one word album titles or very short album titles. You know what I'm saying? Like I love Tribe Called Quest. I grew up on Tribe Called Quest. But the title of their first album, I was like a shorty in like high school, like a freshman, and I was like, yo, I was like, is that the name of the album? Or is this like a proverb or a quote or something like that? I mean, I was like, it's dope, but I can't remember all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So growing up in Chicago, it was like we were influenced by so much hip hop that came out the East and out the West. And then later on, some of the South, like, Texas, like with the Ghetto Boys and stuff. And a lot of those people had shorter album titles. You know what I mean? So the album title went from being possibly Crown in the Ashes to Levitation.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, you can't forget Levitation.
Nope. Nope, you can't. It's right there. It's out there. You know what that reminds me of? And this is why, we're revealing our age, because we grew up on this and stuff. But the late great Michael Jackson, all of his albums either were like one title or short to the point. So you actually are, similar in that with like the titles.
Yeah.
I picked up on that.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of the guys used to tell me, keep it simple. You know what I'm saying? Or some people, how they say, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah, 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 yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Because
yeah.
sometimes when you're like a deep thinker or a person that thinks a lot, sometimes you can get in your own way. You can get
Mm-hmm.
in your own way, like overthinking and making something heavier than it has to be when it's already speaking for itself.
Exactly.
Word.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
next we've got cocaine and daishikis.
Ah.
I see y'all out there. I see y'all. Got them daishikis and that
I-
cocaine. I see
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. you know, it's funny. The title, I was doing it as a joke to poke and make fun of, like, the hypocrisy that plagues the conscious community of activists on
Hmm.
all they, like, black shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, black man this, black man that, yeah, black woman soul sister this and all that and everything. And then they turn around and they throw on some murder, kill type stuff where it's like 12 tracks of sniffing cocaine and
Hmm.
importing dope to Miami and all that. And you'd be like, well, I like all that, but I'm not an activist. I like all that too. So I like that too. If it's done right, I'm gonna like rock to it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, I can't relate to any of that shit that Rick Ross used to talk about,
Hmm.
except from a spectator, somebody who watched it in my environment and watched it around me, you know, but because I saw it, I don't, I stay in my lane. I enjoy it from my
Right.
lane. I will listen to it because I'm telling you, like
Hmm.
I'll throw on the old Rick Ross song with
Hmm.
the Avery Storm cat, cause I'm rich off
Yeah.
cocaine. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be like, yeah, I'll be imagining myself with a rayon shirt looking like Crockett and Tubbs off Miami Vice, and then I
Yes.
snap out of it and be like, oh damn, man, I'm just King Kamal. You know what I'm saying? but it's like you you have too many conscious people that are hypocrites. You
Hmm.
have too many conscious people that are hypocrites, man. I'm telling you, like, the hypocrisy in that shit is so real. Like, and I'm like, man, I can't tell people who to be or who not to be, but god damn it, at least be authentic, at least be real.
Yes.
Like, don't trash it and then turn around and be listening to it. You know, don't don't be banging it and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then when somebody gets killed in real life outside of the art from doing what they were rhyming about, man, we need to put the guns down. We need to stop the
Hmm.
violence. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, we need to protest. And you be like, wait a minute, what you just like? What you just listening to the new Clips album and you was just like praising it and stuff? And that's no. And let me be clear, there's no
Hmm.
disrespect to the Clips because I don't want Pusha T to like randomly like have like a line for like us little independent artists where he, because he's still a lyricist, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah.
But my whole point is like the hypocrisy, man. Like,
Hmm.
you know, like I've even ended friendships, years of history, friendships with people because the hypocrisy was too strong. Like,
Hmm.
these are people that I saw like be on some like, man, I'm an activist, and I'm like, okay, but you online taking pictures of bricks of cocaine and stuff, putting like this artist's music in the back. Now you going too far. Now you doing too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so Cocaine and Dashikis was like pretty much me making fun of the hypocrisy in these people, which it's not completely funny. It's sad, especially if you like over 35, because if you over 35 and you like on that type of time, like I said, enjoy what you enjoy, but don't be a hypocrite with it.
Right.
Like what you like, but get off that activist shit if you like low key, like just heavy on this. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said I always say I represent human frailty. You know what I'm saying? Human frailty is my perfections, my imperfections, my vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no tough guy. I ain't no punk. I ain't all these things. Whatever the hell you want to think what you want to think. I'm going to go listen to Nirvana. I'm going to go listen to Common. I'm going to go listen to Ross. I'm going to go listen to 50. I'm going to turn around and go listen to Griselda. But I'm not on some hypocrite type shit and stuff where you see me out there criticizing these people that I'm listening to, or criticizing what these people may represent, you know, or I'm not going to glorify it. And then when somebody gets inspired by art and try to imitate it when they know they aren't like that, you know, you ain't gonna see me at a fish fry with a dashiki on, looking like Michael from Good Time and whatnot, you know, being the militant midget.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You know, exactly. Or behind the scenes saying, oh, I'm not feeling this. But then when you get online, just because you want to, you know, get praise and you write and you want to look good and get views, you know, you're praising it. You know, I've seen that too. And it's like, didn't you just say that?
A lot. See, and that right there is cocaine and dashikis. The cocaine is the part, it represents the part that they condemn publicly.
Right.
The dashiki is the so-called woke part that they claim to be, and it just clashes and they contradict each other. Let me be clear. I'm talking about woke, the original version.
Yes.
Not the one that white politicians have jacked from black people's slang and gave it a whole different meaning where it's the party of woke. No, that is not the woke I'm talking about. Hell no. You know, I'm talking about when we originally had it, when people was like, stay woke, like, hey, stay alert, nigga, stay alert. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, cocaine and dashikis, like I was making fun of it with the title, because I said, that's a hilarious title, but it's so real and it's so true. If you knew what we knew and you saw the things that we sat back and we saw, that we both was where we was scratching our head and stuff, and like wait a minute, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know,
right. People got me eating
dashikis.
Yep. People got me eating a whole lot of popcorn, putting extra butter, just watching.
I know, right? You know what I mean? So yeah. So hey, they probably gonna be mad at me, or they'll probably be mad at me when they hear that song, man. But it's all love.
They'll be all right. They'll be okay. You know, what do we say? You know, a hit dog will holler. You know.
Yep, a hit dog will holler.
If the shoe fits, wear it. You know.
Yep. Just because you pour syrup on shit don't make it pancakes.
Exactly. You know.
Word.
So now we're getting, you know, we're gonna get more into the heavy, the emotional, the deep. You know, so next we've got Twist of Fate.
Oh yeah. Twist of Fate. Oh man.
I had to take a breather on that one.
I know. Twist of Fate is the most personal song I've ever done in my music career. When I say ever, I mean ever. And it represented me and my dad's last days together in sound when we would connect through sound over the phone. And, when he was coming closer to making his transition, you know, it just was like, mm, it was like we talked so much. We already talked a lot, but we talked so much to where I always expected that random text, always expected that random emoji, always expected that random call between 3 and 5 p.m. And when we would talk, it's like I could hear, you know, him like really like catching, catching breaths in between words because like me, you know what I'm saying, which I got that from him, he was a talker. Like anybody that knew my pops, man, like yo, he could tell you some stories like that could be like books and stuff. So and it's like, you know, we talk so much. And each time I talk to him, I cherished every moment, like because we didn't have like a good relationship when I was younger. You know what I mean? But as I got older as a man, and when he got closer near the end, he kept it realer with me than any elder that's ever been in my life. People that I thought was real, people that I looked up to, people whom I would have like chose him and his word, chose them and their word over his. And we would have like some of the most deepest, most intimate like conversations about life and reality. And it was just like when he was gone, it hit me so hard to where I said, man, I just need one more conversation with him. I wish I could just talk to him just one last time. I said, man, I had so much to say, even though we said so much to each other, why do I feel like I still have so much to say? And then I like started journaling, hoping that somehow in the subconscious, because energy never dies, that he could hear my thoughts and all that and everything. And I just said, you know what? I said, fuck this. I threw the journal away for a moment and I came across this track. It didn't sound like a hip hop track. It didn't sound like anything somebody would rhyme over. You know, to some people, if you don't attack the track right, it'll sound too melancholy. It'll sound too soft and not for somebody to really rhyme and put emotion into. And it's hard for somebody who's not a true artist and who's not a true writer or a limited artist and a limited writer. It's hard for those type of people to rock over that beat like I did and give it they all. And I tapped into it and was just like, this track is talking to me and telling me to talk to him. What would you say to him if you could talk to him one last time? Like when he passed, I was like afraid to like listen to old voicemails and stuff. And I was just like, man, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready, man. I wasn't ready, man. I ain't ready. And then one day I just randomly pressed play and I was listening. And after that, I said, damn. I said, I get it. I said, he was tired. He was ready. Who am I to be selfish? I get it now, Pop. I get it, man. Let me tell you how I feel. And I put it in song and that's what I came up with. Twist of fate. Some people say twist of fate, but I said twist of fate. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, that's what it was and that's what it is. And I felt like I was lifting a burden off of me and freeing myself by pouring myself symbolically into him, like musically, like just dumping everything on him, like collapsing metaphorically in his arms as a, a young son to a father. You know what I mean? Like he knew, you know, he knew before he left, he knew how much I loved him. And I knew how much he loved me. And I didn't get that when I was younger because, like many young black boys and stuff, you know, coming up in the inner city and coming up, you know, I came from a single parent household. You know what I'm saying? Only my mother and my sister was there. I got other siblings and stuff, but you know, I rock with my tribe. You know what I'm saying? And I don't rock with them. They don't rock with me. And it's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, in later years, this is what it came down to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't, at the last minute, I might not have got the father earlier in life that I wanted, but in the end, I got the father I needed.
Yes.
And this right here is me showing my love for my father before the world.
And it was beautifully done. Like I get very emotional every time I listen to it because you can just, you know, feel the feelings of it and stuff. It's very beautifully done. It's a beautiful song, you know, and you know,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Anybody that has a heart, anybody that can relate in any way, you're gonna feel it. Like I'm feeling it in my chest right now as
Yeah,
I'm even talking about it. You know,
it'll do
it's
that.
wow. Yeah.
It will do that. If you are human, if you are not governed by ego, if you are not governed by caring what people think of you, like this type of stuff is for you. This is life music. This is reality music. I mean, that track was so personal. It originally was never meant to be released.
Mhm.
It was me privately creating that only I was going to hear and only a select chosen few people that know me was going to hear and have a copy of. And I said, nah. I said, nah, man. I said, I need this out there.
Mhm.
So when I'm gone, no time soon. Ain't speaking
Yes,
it on myself.
yes.
Let me make that
Yes.
clear. I ain't trying to go to the upper room like no
No,
time. You know what I'm saying? You
no.
know, no, it's to inspire people to not be afraid to share that part of yourself and whatnot. Many of us come from that era or those households where it's like what goes on in this house stays in this house. And that's why a lot of black men who were once black boys were always told, you know, stop crying before I give you something to cry about. And then when they grow up, they can't express themselves honestly and vulnerably. And if they do, you know, they get called bitches and called being soft and all that. And, you know, I don't give a fuck about none of that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I lost my dad. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he lives in me. You know what I'm saying? He lives through me as long as I'm like, you know, in the physical and I'm doing what I do. You know, I had to express it. I had to let the world know. I had to let the world see it. So when I put it out there, it's out there. So hopefully it'll touch people in some kind of way, you know, whether negative or whether positive, it's going to make you feel something.
Yes. Yes, it is. And you definitely did that, you know. So
Word.
yes. So next we have ceiling fans.
Ceiling fans. You know, ceiling fans is about dealing with the unexpected, good and bad. You know, I call it ceiling fans because I was the track produced by Yuri. It reminds me of the Dungeon family. It reminds me of that Rico Wade, rest in peace, production. It reminds me of Cool Breeze. It reminds me of Witch Doctor. It reminds me of Andre 3000 and Big Boy. It reminds me of Goody Mo. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of the original old school Atlanta, like cooking up soul. And that's why my tribute and paying homage to them was like in the flow where I was taking bits and pieces of different deliveries of all of them and mashing it together as my interpretation of it. You know what I mean? And you know, it the title Ceiling Fans.
Mhm.
Andre 3000 has a line on elevators where when he said every day I looked up at that ceiling, where he said, you know, he was saying he was watching the ceiling fans go round and round trying to get that feeling off instrumentals. I got my
Mhm.
pencil and plus my paper. And it's like anybody who's ever like been in deep thought and was reflecting and laying on their back in the room and was looking up at the ceiling and the ceiling fan was on, like just hypnotizing them and putting them in a state of reflection.
Mhm.
That's how I got that title as I was channeling my inner interpretation of Dungeon Family, you know, gladiators, and the subject matter was me touching on serious matters that are part of many serious matters that I've experienced in my life. Like I said,
Mhm.
I'm not one as an artist, I'm not one to run away from certain things within my art form. You know, like
Right.
some people be like, "No, man, you shouldn't rap about that, man." No, I'm as long as I have a voice, I can't rap about no street shit because I'm not no street dude.
Right.
Never was when I was a younger dude and was like, you know, I mean, I've always been me.
Mhm.
So I have to express me. You know what I'm saying? I represent that person who speaks from the heart. You know what I'm saying? Pac did it, but people only see the thug part and everything when he told people don't take one side of me and run with that because you know better than that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There was layers to him. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
this is, you know, this is who I am. So that's how Ceiling Fans came about, you know what I mean? And I just had to touch on like, you know, some real personal near and dear things to me that many people deal with, many people go through. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that's what it is.
I think it's a perfect addition to the album. It fits the whole vibe of the album too.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So the final track we have is Leaves of the Fall.
Leaves of the Fall. Once again, it's another track about. Thank you, sis. Great storyteller. I appreciate that. Leaves of the Fall. Once again, it's about another prime example of being vulnerable and pouring out one's heart. But this time, I was pouring out my heart to myself as I was stepping outside of myself, talking to myself like it's two of me. You know what I'm saying? Like on some Gemini type shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, yeah, and the vibe is very similar to Twist of Fate because I recorded it right after Twist of Fate because I
Mhm.
love the beat so much, like the earthy sound. You know, it didn't have the the hard 808s or boom bap this that or nothing like that. You know, which I like all that, but when you make music that transcends beyond what people call hip hop music, and you're very versatile as an artist, a producer, a songwriter, it's going to reflect just that. And that's why the production reflected what it did. Like you hear the birds, you hear the nature and stuff like that, where it feels like you're outside and it's calm, like it's October or something like that, and the wind is blowing, and it's not sunny, it's not dark, it's like somewhere in between,
Mhm.
and just like a wet mist on the grass, you know what I'm saying? And it's foggy a bit, you know, that's the picture. And I was just like pouring out to myself while the other part of me was listening, like like I was venting to the other side of me, the other part of
Mhm.
me. You know what I'm saying? So it's called Leaves of the Fall, you know what I'm saying? Because the nature sound, all the things I mentioned. And like leaves, you know what I'm saying? Like leaves live, then eventually fall off the tree. They go through their stages where they crumble up, they die, they blow away, they go back to the earth, only to evolve right back and live again, which in a sense shows you that the essence of those leaves never die, but constantly evolve.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's a perfect closer to the album too. It's like a kind of like you said, a self-reflection, and it's also a moment to decompress because you have to take a pause after that. You really have to
Yeah,
pause, especially after the last few songs you listen to.
yeah,
So it's like that decompression is needed.
it is.
It is. It is. So
It is
it's a perfect closer to it.
true indeed.
True indeed. You definitely did your thing, on this album. And, I love that it
Thank
is
you.
on the website too. You're welcome.
Yeah, yeah, it's on the website um right now exclusively because like eventually it's going to be on streaming platforms. I want to have it on streaming platforms uh by June 16th on my father's born day. Um, but for now, I'm solely pushing and encouraging anybody that rocks with me and believes in supporting real music and real good music and truly supporting indie artists to go to the person's platform directly and buy
Mhm.
that album. Cop that album. If you rock with that
Yes.
person, don't be afraid to support them. Don't be cheap. Don't be
Yeah.
cheap. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can buy chips, if you can buy pop, if you can buy anything that somebody else created, whether it's food, whether it's clothing, whether it's something for your car, whether it's the car you're driving, you're supporting somebody else. This right here is this right here is good music. You know what I'm
Yes, it
saying?
is.
It's good
Yes, it
music. You
is.
know what I'm saying? It's perfection, it's flaws, it's greatness, it's a plethora and a mixture of so many things. It's mature, there's no gimmicks, it's just me being me. And if you haven't experienced any of what I rhyme about, if you are a real down to earth human being, you will eventually experience or know someone who has experienced some of the things, some of the gems, some of the jewels that I'm dropping throughout this musical masterpiece of mine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Encourage, support, especially real genuine support. All money is appreciated, but, purchase because you generally mean it, not because you on a different agenda. No, purchase it because you mean it. That's the support that really counts, real support here, and going to the site, purchasing it, it's great. Now, when it comes out on streaming, still purchase and stream at the same time, because I know I do. It's
Thank you.
it's no problem. It's not hard to do. That's what the real do.
Yeah, yeah, they do. Yeah, exactly. And I like that point you made.
Thank you.
Just because, like, if you just heard it through streaming platforms and you caught on late to it, still buy it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not against streaming. Like, some people are 100% against streaming. I'm not against streaming as long as you still go to the sites of these people that you claim that you rock with and buy it. Like, there are some people that hear about you first through streaming platforms, because sometimes I've been listening to stuff that I chose to listen to, and because I didn't have like a long enough playlist, it eventually introduced me to something that it feels fits the vibe or style of what I listen to, and then I'll listen to it and I'm like, oh man, this is dope, who is this? And I'll save it, I'll stream it, and then I'll go on my phone and search the internet for this person to find out if they got a website or if they have a social media, and I go to their social media and I find a link, and then I'll go there and then I'll see if they have anything for sale, and I show my support. And that's how you do it.
Yeah. That's how you do. It's not hard. It's easy. Click of a few buttons,
Indeed.
Definitely. This was a very beautiful, dope build as usual with you, here, on Activated. I truly appreciate you. I love this album. I'm excited for, what's to come with this album, with the music, visuals, everything. There's a lot more in store.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Supreme gratitude. The way this album came about, it was not intentional, but I mean, it was so necessary. And the ending progress and how it turned out, I am so satisfied and I am so content with what I created.
I love it, as you should be, so everybody, you just need to get on the website, KingKamalHipHop.com. We have it everywhere. It's all over social media as well. You can't miss it. Every time it's promoted, we have it there. Go there, get the album, and show that real support. Yes.
Right. Show it. Show it. Show
it. So, I always like to close out the show, like an ending song. So I think we should close it out, when Act 2 started with, Silent Ascension. I think we should close it out with that one.
Indeed. I'm feeling that. Let's do it.
Indeed. Well, I want to thank you again, for gracing the platform again. Let's Get Activated podcast. Much love to you, King Kamal. You're always welcome. You definitely have a front row seat, as.
Thank you. Thank you. Peace and love to you. I appreciate you. And thank everyone for tuning in. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Even if I don't know you personally, I love you and I got love for you.
Exactly. So I want to wish everybody peace and love. Thank you for the support, and we are activated. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't need no applause for this. I move in silence. I don't need to be seen. Growth in the dark where it's quiet and clean. Know what I mean? They want the noise, but I walk in the still. Power don't speak when it's sharp and will. Lost who I was just to find something real. Cuts ran deep, but they taught me to heal. No validation, I answer within. No announcement is needed when I move like a ghost. Worked in the dark while they bragged on they posts. Lessons I learned from the ones I was close. Distance was needed, and I needed it the most. Growth ain't loud, it's a personal climb, and I cut off the nose, had to master my mind. Patience was the key, I respected the time. Now I'm just building, I'm in my own prime. Stayed in the shadows, I sharpen my blade. Watch how they move, I ain't follow the wave. And I built me a path that was never displayed. Now I move like I'm self-made, always. Silence the proof, I don't speak what I do. Actions will reflect everything that is true. When cut off the fake, I ain't sticking with you. Now I move with a clearer view. Fuck these new fools. Silence ascensions, no need for applause. Built for the struggle, respecting all the laws. Niggas never see you when you taking that loss. Silence ascension, I paid what it cost, yeah. Silence ascension, no need for applause. Built for the struggle, respecting all the laws. Niggas never see you when you taking that loss. Silence ascension, I paid what it cost. Time was my teacher, I learned how to wait. Built by myself, I was shaping my fate. Stayed out the mix, I don't deal with the hate. Now I just move at a higher state. Hey, distance from chaos, I needed that space. Learned how to move at my own fucking pace. Looked in the mirror, I studied my face. Now I move with a stronger base. Everything quiet, but growth was loud. Did it all alone, I ain't need me no crowd. Stayed 10 toes, I was holding it down. Now I just rise while they watching me now. Ow. Silence but deadly, I mastered that art. Built from the pain, I rebuilt my heart. Stayed in the dark till I mastered my part. Now I just move like I finished from the start. Yeah, silence ascension, no need for applause. Built from the struggle, I respect all the laws. Niggas never see you when you taking that loss. Silence ascension, I paid what it cost. Silence ascension, no need for applause. Built from the struggle, respecting all the laws. Niggas never see you when you taking that loss. Silence ascension, I paid what it cost. I paid my motherfucking dues. You make sure you pay yours. Don't focus on what another man do. You know what I'm saying? I ain't get this far in life hiding under a rock. I've been out there. You know what I'm saying? I done been amongst the grimy without being grimy. I done been amongst the righteous and I done seen foul shit. You know?